Hey, so it's like 1 in the afternoon now, and I've been thinking about responsibilities and restrictions and things that are like they're not the fun things to do, but it's like you have to do them anyway, I guess. And I don't really know why I've been thinking about them more recently. One thing I did look up that's interesting, I looked up the horoscope for today, just on a whim, because I did want to talk about astrology, and it said that the Saturn went direct today. So, like, the planets, they go on these sort of backward motions, these retrograde motions, where it's more of a time to think and process. And then it's like when they're direct, it's like all of a sudden you have to, act on what you've done and created, right? So it's like a preparation versus action, larger phase. I think is the best way I can describe it. Yeah. And as I was cleaning today, I noticed it felt a little different because before, it's like when I was cleaning my home and just doing basic day-to-day tasks. Like recently, there was a friend of mine who had said, like, why are you being so OCD about cleaning, right? And an interesting thing happened to me today, and it would probably seem insignificant to many people, but when I was cleaning, I was like scrubbing this pan, and I didn't really want to get unstuck, and I was scrubbing it very hard, and I was not really thinking about it in the moment. I was just thinking about, why am I cleaning this? And I was actually thinking about the limitation, which is funny, but it was like sort of this weird transcendental thing. But as I was scrubbing this pan, it's like part of it, like the metal popped off and cut my finger, and it's like, now it hurts, ironically. So I've been thinking, like, when does something become OCD? And when does it become, like, when is it necessary and when is it like a disease, right? Like, what's the bigger picture I was hiding from by cleaning a pot or a pan? Now, when I look at that, I see that, okay, right, like the opposite of Cancer, the opposite of the domestic home cleaning energy, right, is Capricorn, which is work, which is the working, not just working, but like to work, but working on a vision for others. And those are in direct opposition, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think it's just something that's like, hey, you're doing too much at home. Maybe it's time to work on some stuff outside of the home. Maybe it's time to give back. So that's why I came in here and I started making this video to sort of talk that through. So I guess oppositions in the zodiac and the archetypal wheel of the cosmos. You have the first one is Aries and Libra, and that is, to me, Aries it represents the nature of like a child, the nature of somebody who maybe hasn't yet come to the full realization of that they are connected to everything, that they are a part of this place and they are responsible for it. It's sort of a childish, chaotic self-knowledge. And I think that's where a lot of people are these days. Like when I look around, I see a lot of people thinking only for just their bodies, not themselves, but their bodies. There's a difference there. Because the self is like, we are not just our bodies, and we're not just our hunger and our physical needs. We are also our wants, our desires, and our visions for the world. And it's a continuous process between learning who you are, what that person wants, and how to teach it. And I don't think anybody can ever really teach the truth here. Like, I think if we're trying to find the truth on Earth, then we become a know-it-all, and that's just not good. But I mean, it's like people. I feel like the motto, I feel like, is a good motto is reach one, teach one, right? So it's like if you reach something in yourself about who you are as a person, or any insight, right? Any insight or any thought that's new or novel. Hey, Nui, not right now, Nui. It's like the neediest cat in the world. No, Nui. It's my roommate's cat. Anyway, as I was saying, it's like when I feel like when somebody gets to me, where it's like, okay, I've reached this thing, like this, whatever it is, this knowledge that's, even if it doesn't seem that amazing, you thought it for a reason, right? So it's important to share and learn and keep sharing and keep learning and all these things. And I guess that's what I'm trying to do with the oppositions. Back to that. Aries is this is the chaotic energy of life, the chaotic, go-getting warrior type of dude. It really represents sort of a brash energy. Like, I'm not saying all people with Aries suns or whatever are bad, or that they're immature, or any of that. I think that people really tend to use astrology more as a crutch than anything these days. Like, instead of an opportunity for self-knowledge, it's like a lot of people that I talk to about astrology, it's like, oh, I'm a Gemini, so I can't help, like, being overbearing and bitchy. Or it's like with the Scorpios, it's like, oh, Scorpios are crazy, man. Like, watch out for Scorpios. Scorpios are dangerous, but then they're a Scorpio. So it's like, why are you defending, like, if you were actually strong, you wouldn't need to talk about self-defense all the time. Or, like, with Leos, right? Like, like, oh, man, like, I'm prideful, and, like, that's why I do what I do. And that's why I'm proud, and I care too much, man. And it's like all of these things, and like every sign, right? I could go through the whole wheel with that. Every single sign has a part of it that you can use as a crutch, and a part of it that requires you to look a little deeper than you did before. And I think it's really important when people pay attention to when they're using any wisdom, even if it's esoteric and deep and mystical, when they're using it as a crutch and it's preventing them from learning because they feel like they know it all, or they feel like they know what they need at that time, and they're denying the universe pulling on them and tugging on them, like saying, hey, right, this isn't working anymore. Whatever it is, figure it out. That's a hard thing for people to look at, but it's also, hard is not an excuse. Hard is simply time and energy. And when people ask for something bigger than what they have right now, then the universe tests them. And the universe is going to say, oh, you want that? Okay, well, here's how you get it. Like, it's going to give it to you right then and there. And then it's just going to be like, well, do you really want it? Because this is what this entails. If you want to help the entire planet at once, like, this is a thing that I deal with a lot. Like, I want to run out and help the entire planet, right? Like, always, like, the best person possible. Like, the most philosophical, entrepreneurial. Like, I want to be Superman, but I'm not Superman. Not yet. So when I ask for that, the universe is like, no, what you really want is to pay your bills on time, man. What you really want is to feel like stable and secure in yourself and like your body. And then you can go out and fix the world, right? One person at a time. And then it kind of comes back around and it's like, well, if you want to get your shit done, you have to teach, right? You either have to teach or give something up of equal value. And if your information is not of equal value to the point where you can thrive and survive to the point where you wish to, then all of a sudden, hey, time to teach better. So that, again, requires me to look at myself, which is, again, effective because that's the only person I can change. So the other oppositions would be, Taurus and Scorpio. And Taurus is the I have, or yeah, like I've collected basically. And I think when people start using Taurus energy for good, it's a generous energy. It's knowledgeable and practical and pragmatic. And when people start using Taurus energy for bad, it turns into clutter and hoarding and helping everybody and being too, like almost giving too much of themselves and not giving up enough. And that's why the opposition of Taurus is Scorpio, right? Because Scorpio is the energy that that's the Taurus's, if somebody's primary energy is Taurus, that's the energy that they have to learn to face more and more in their life. And that's where I think astrology comes into play. These signs are not crutches. They're not excuses to be in the same place. They're excuses to grow and learn. Which brings me around to like having versus sacrificing. It's a balance. That's the goal. It's not having anything, and it's also not sacrificing too little and like giving too much. It's like it's in the middle. It has to be balanced. And which brings me to my side of the zodiac, which is the Gemini versus Sagittarius. Why I hate pretentious people that feel like they know it all, right? And even just then, I feel myself kind of clamming up and shutting down. And I've known that why I don't like these people that they feel like they have it all, is because I don't want to feel like I have it all. I want to know I have it all, and I don't, and that's frustrating, and that's where humility comes into play. And it's like you have to learn this next step, and you learn it as you need it. So if I can become if I'm a good teacher for me, for myself, for this body to sustain myself, that's unsustainable, right? So if I'm doing the right thing at a particular time and I'm stable, one thing about stability is that it's unstable. That's the paradox. It's like if I'm doing everything I'm supposed to, some external force, whether it's somebody firing me quitting, or a meteor coming down, or something, like getting caught in a rainstorm, getting sick, getting anything, or a student's leaving even. That's the big thing right now. It's like, people who I've been trying to help, not necessarily in my home, because I realize my home needs to be more of a sacred space, but I had a big problem with bringing too many people in, trying to heal them, and I guess the problem is that they were poor mindset to begin with. They were broken, and I was trying to fix them, and this is a problem for me. But regardless, then a bunch of students left at the same time, which made it very difficult. I'm still trying to figure out how those are both related. I think I was being a little bit too much. I wasn't really respecting my students' boundaries, intellectually, because I feel like I was just kind of talking at them. And I wasn't meeting them where they were at. And that's what I'm trying to do better now. If I really wish to be of service to people, I have to see them where they are. I can't just be a talking head that's spewing information that they have no idea what I'm talking about. So in the future, and today, it's a Friday, and that's when I do a lot of my, word of mouth marketing and such. I want to go out there and just try to say, meet people where they're at, try to be compassionate, figure out where people are, and not so much as a sleuth, but it's okay, well, let's talk about that, That's where I'm headed today, I suppose. Cool. Well, I guess that's the nature of Saturnine oppositions, right? And I think the big main ones all have to do with who you are, right? Who you believe yourself to be as an individual, and so that's either deals with wrath, because you don't know and you're afraid and you're hungry and you're scared and something's not working and you need to fight. Or it deals with hoarding, having too much, giving too little. Or it deals with overbearing, not being compassionate with your knowledge. If you have the knowledge of give it up and it comes back, time to learn to teach that. And really feel that compassion, and it's like love is all you need, man. Love is all you need. That's it.